Geneva is the first canton in Switzerland to lay out guidelines for initial coin offerings, or ICOs. Today, I'm joined in the studio by Alice Lhabouz, CEO of Trecento Blockchain Capital. Alice Lhabouz, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you for inviting me.
Now, let's start off. Geneva wasn't the only ICO destination you had in mind. Who else was in the running?
That's true. We had discussion with Monaco also, but we decided to come in Geneva because the authority were very dynamic and they really want to support our project because it's a financial project on blockchain subject. So they tried to convince us, and that's what we did. We decided to establish our firm in Geneva.
And they managed to convince you faster than Monaco.
Yes, that's true. That's why we decided to come here.
Now, Trecento is already an established asset management firm in France. Why not just do the ICO in Paris?
It could be an option, but the fact is that when we decided to work on the blockchain subject, the guideline was not very clear in France. We had very good relation with Geneva because for Trecento Asset Management in France, we had developed a very nice clientele in Geneva successfully. So it was very clear for us that it would be the right place to establish the new firm.
And the right place also in terms of the regulatory framework.
That's it, because the FINMA makes some nice guidelines also, so it feels us more safety and more comfortable to be supported by the authority and to have FINMA guideline.
Do you not feel as safe setting it up in France?
You know, in France, we are very high standard in our group because we are already regulated in France. We have the French regulator who gave us the good visa to develop our business. But at this time, it was not very clear in France what will happen about ICO subject. But then they decided to put some kind of label, to develop some kind of AMF label for ICO. So now it's more simple to create your ICO and to develop your ICO in France.
And is that similar to or the equivalent of FINMA in Switzerland, for example?
Not exactly the same, because it's really a kind of visa or label. So the IMF will make a studying about your white paper and how the team is very serious, what is his background, and then to put a stamp to say to investor, it's a serious subject, a serious project with a serious team. Mm-hmm. So it's a nice way to make some kind of regulation about the subject.
So it seems that France is on its way, but let's turn our attention actually now to Geneva, where you've decided to set up. Now, you already mentioned that it's a stable environment. What else convinced you to set up here?
Also, it is becoming a very nice hub for blockchain technology and blockchain startup because there are more and more incubator and accelerator in Geneva. So it's a nice hub. And also, you know, for our firm in France, Trecento Asset Management, that we developed 7 years ago. And we have for this firm 2 funds, one dedicated to healthcare and one dedicated to robotic. We used to develop our clientele here in Geneva. So for us, it was really a nice place to establish our firm. And we really wanted a financial place because we could have the idea to do this in Zug, for example, which is a crypto valley, a nice place too. But Zug, I think it's more for people who make technology or who make startup or crypto. First of all, we are asset manager. We are doing an ICO. Of course, we will invest on blockchain universe, of course, but first of all, our job is to create an asset management firm, a regulated one. And I think that it could be Geneva or maybe Zurich, but Zug is not a very famous place for asset management.
Right next to Zurich, I would say even neighbors.
Of course, I know. But because we are close of Geneva, we decided to do there.
Now, Zug has already developed a name for itself. So, and I believe that this is just your opinion because a lot of ICOs are also popping out there. And I would say that they would argue that they are also a hub for ICOs.
Yes, I know, but you know, ICO, it's just a new and a different way to raise money to develop your project. But the most important thing for me to establish a location for your project, it's what will be your job and what we will make asset management. So in Geneva, there are lots of asset management firms, there are lots of family offices, private bankers. So the framework is very nice for our subject.
Now, is this also a little bit to do with a cultural thing? So if it's in Geneva, it's more tied to the French or Parisian working culture?
Maybe it could be a nice explanation, but it's not the only one thing.
Just looking at your plans to start up in Geneva, what is the headcount going to look like? How big is the base going to be compared to Paris? Are you really going to have an office here, or is it just a name?
No, the idea is to have an office here and to have a team here. And we are now have discussion with people from finance and people from the blockchain technology to join us to develop what we want, because what we want to develop, it's an open door for traditional investors, institutional clients, family offices, but also individuals, an open door to invest in a regulated and safe way on the blockchain universe with a diversified approach. So we have a very nice background in it. So we really believe that it could be great for everybody. For people on the blockchain subject and people who are doing their ICO, we will try to raise money for them, and also for traditional investors, which are very interested to invest in this subject, but they don't have a regulated way with people who used to manage asset management firm to take care of their money.
Do you see some competition between all the crypto hubs that we're seeing in Switzerland? For example, we already have Zug. I know the crypto hub in Geneva is booming and being the first canton to have the guidelines.
Yes.
Do you think that they could overtake at one stage?
I don't really know. Maybe you can ask the question to the authorities. But what I know is that when we speak with the Geneva authorities, they really, really want to be attractive on the subject and to help a firm to be established in Geneva.
And speaking of authorities, I know that you have been in very close contact with the authorities of Geneva, of the canton. What was this discussion like? How did you even get in touch with them at the beginning?
You know, I used to come in Geneva once a month since about 5 years. So I have lots of clients in Geneva and lots of friends. And I met, they were present by one of my clients during a lunch. And like this, we decided to have a discussion about the subject, because they say they wanted to be more attractive on the blockchain subject, and they wanted to launch an ICO guideline, and we were talking about it, and after...
They were obviously convincing enough.
That's it.
And you already decided to launch here before the guidelines were announced, but it doesn't hurt to have such a stable framework in place.
Yes, of course, it's more comfortable for us to have this guide, which give very nice high standard about the subject, and I think it could help entrepreneurs who want to launch their ICO to have this guide. So it's very nice. And this, combined to FINMA guideline, it's very nice for entrepreneurs.
And that's actually what I'm going to touch upon next. How do you even make sure that you meet all the regulatory requirements outlined by FINMA?
We are very sensitive to the subject because we are regulated in France, so we have very high standard on the regulatory subject. We are very close of people in Geneva, of experts, compliance and lawyer experts, but also blockchain experts, and to help us to be really on time and really in phases with FINMA requirements.
Now, you're actually issuing utility tokens, but in your eyes, it is very different when it comes to FINMA. For example, security tokens are looked at more closely.
Yes, you know that there are 3 kinds of tokens who exist. There are payment tokens, such as Bitcoin, that you, of course, you heard about it. There are security tokens. Security tokens it's coin that can give you some performances or some yield. So it's really a very huge subject for regulation because it's not far than a stake, for example. And you have utility token where you pre-sale your services for to your future clients. So it's exactly what we are doing. So our services is asset management fees because we take fees on the fund that we will develop. We will take fees on the fund that we will develop. So what we propose us in our utility token is to pre-sale our services of asset management. So people who will invest in our ICO will have gratuity and also very huge discounts on our future fees.
How do you decide which token to issue? And what are the benefits of each token?
Yes. Of course, the regulation is more easy for utility token.
Is that why you decided to do that?
It was one of our key points when we decided here. Also, we wanted to create our community, our future investor, and propose them to join us in the beginning of the story. That's why utility tokens are very nice for this, because you create your own community, your future clients come at the beginning of the story, they have discount, they have gratuity on your fees.
Do security tokens actually ring out alarm bells when it comes to FINMA?
Not really now, because they are working on a nice guideline about the subject, and you should be regulated, and the FINMA have to accept that you will develop a security token. So I think it's more longer, and it's not what we wanted to do at the beginning.
And just to finish up with the company itself, there are so many growing number of ICOs in Switzerland. How do you manage to stand out within this competitive market and sell yourself as a credible choice for investors?
Of course. I think we have a very long track record in asset management. And of course, the credibility is one of the most important subjects when you are investing in an ICO. So our track record, long track record, our team have a very long track record. So in asset management and also in fintech and now in blockchain, I think that to be supported by the Republican states is a very good point for investors, because it means that they have looked who we are and what we have done, and that we are serious. And also I think the project, because what we are doing is a very nice bridge between traditional finance and crypto world and blockchain world. So it will be good for all the blockchain universe, what we are doing. That's why we need to be supported by the blockchain people.
So just to pick up on what you were just mentioning about being a bridge between being a traditional asset management firm combined with blockchain, do you see an increasing demand from clients who want this kind of service?
Yes, of course, and especially in Geneva, because there are, for family offices and private bankers, there are more and more clients who go to see them and to say, I have crypto wallets and I would like you to manage my crypto wallet, but they don't really used to do it, and it could be great for them to have some fund, open fund, to invest the money of their clients. So yes, there is a really important demand, increase of the demand.
And just looking at it, if we have a traditional asset management firm and something like yours, what is the biggest difference aside from doing something with blockchain?
Yes, there are, first of all, the product, because we will not invest in the same SIM, okay? But it will change the relation with clients, because, you know, thanks to the blockchain, you will be able to make some onboarding online for individual clients, to make their KYC online, and also to buy and sell very quickly, more quickly than in traditional asset management, to buy and sell fund stakes. And they will have also very nice live report, because thanks to the blockchain, you will be able to create very special live reports for each client. And I think it's a little bit new tech.
Tech savvy.
Yes, exactly.
And who do you see as your main client base, or who do you want to attract? Is it traditional investors that you want to turn to blockchain asset management, or crypto enthusiasts already?
I think it's both. For our ICO, it's crypto enthusiasts, first of all. But for our future fund, of course, it's more traditional investors, maybe individuals who are interested in the subject, but also institutional clients, family offices, and private bankers.
Right now, you're in the middle of doing your ICO.
That's
so
true.
tell me, how has it been going, and do you think you're on track to meet your goal?
Yes, we are now on private sale, so we will launch the sale the 1st of October until the end of October, and in November it will be the sale, so the official sale. We are trying to raise between 5 and 20 million, and we have some interesting commitment now.
So, and I think a lot of companies will be looking to see how you, as the first example, will be doing.
That's true.
Thank you very much, Alice.
Thank you.